Back. Another Light Magic AI LinkedIn Live. We've been pretty consistent for the last few weeks. So this is our last LinkedIn Live for AI applied session for 2023. So it's been a lot of fun to do these, and we're going to be back like in early 2024, maybe with a little bit of a different formatting or days. We don't know just quite yet, but we're just like finishing off strong. So what we wanted to do today is like get together, and we have like demoed a lot of different use cases that we have built using a specific AI platform called Respel. And we've had so many questions about that and a lot of interest about that. So we thought, why doesn't our final AI applied session be really about showing you why we're such big fans of Respel, why we build in there, what kind of things we're able to build in there. So that gives you an idea of how we work on a like day-to-day basis. So the master of the spells, Tyler Fisk, is right here to like walk us through all of that and show you how that all comes together. So Tyler.
Thanks. I don't know that I'm the master, but we'll see. I definitely goof off enough in there. Oh, and look who we have backstage ready to join us as well. Hunter.
Hello.
I tried, Hunter. I tried to make my intro as like fun as yours.
I'm sure it was fantastic. I love what you are serving in looks today, Sarah.
Ooh.
Yes.
I thought my hair isn't washed, so.
You know what? When people ask me, yeah, when people ask me like, how do you get your hair like that? I was like, I don't use shampoo. I barely wash it. That is the trick. It's the trick.
So it's up. But glad
it's
you
the
like
natural oils, darling.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my goodness. So we're about to walk through and talk all things Respel real quick. And I guess let's go ahead. Sorry, you just want to go ahead and just pop it up and we'll just screen share and walk through this thing?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, cool. Hold on, we're going to have one special guest appearance who wants to come say hello. Come here real quick. Am I unmuted? Yeah, I think I'm unmuted now. Oh!
Hey!
We get to say hey real quick.
Yeah. Howdy, partner.
Boss, this is the Light Magic AI boss right here.
Are you the boss? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're the boss, applesauce.
Yeah. So he wanted to come in. Like he knows that this is how Daddy and Mr. Hunter, Miss Sarah, and Miss Ann, and Josh and Mr. Michael, everyone works on the internet. So this is like completely normal for him, and he just like pops in and out of live streams and video calls all the time. So it's just You want to sit here?
I love it. Good to see you, Jackson. I also love how everyone is Mr. or Mrs. Ms. except for Josh.
Well,
and then there's Josh.
Mr. Josh. He's the youngin'. He's under 30. He's got to earn the Mr. status. What it is.
Our Gen Z representing.
Yeah. Oh, hey. All right. Let's dig in here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So can you guys see the dashboard now for the spells?
Yep.
All right. Cool. So this is the Respel dashboard, and I guess let's just walk through just a basic, just starting from scratch spell here. So it's just a blank canvas, and what I love the most about this is just all of the different models available in here. This is multimodal, and what I mean by that is that not only do we have like different text LLMs, we also have different like image, speech, and then research agents. So let me just click through down here. So it has like all of the Azure models in here. It has ChatGPT in here. Actually, they took ChatGPT out. They just have like the regular GPTs in here now. It's got Claude Instant and Claude 2.1 and Cohere, which I don't know about YouTube, but like I haven't seen Cohere and natively integrated into any other AI products that I've seen. So that's
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to play with. Like the Summarize tool down here for Cohere is pretty like simple as far as like decisions you have to make. It's like, do you want it in paragraph or bullet points? How long do you want it to be? And the max number of tokens. Yeah, it's not very, very hard to write a spell with that. And how you would do that is, let's say that you just wanted to summarize like a news article that you had that came through there. You're literally just like connecting the strings like this. Then you could come out here and just drop in either the URL or the text from the article or a PDF from it, like however you want to do that, and then just run it and it would summarize it. So it's really that simple on some of this stuff. Simple or as complicated as you'd want to make it. So yeah, pretty much you have inputs and outputs are the main things to look at here. Then you've got all sorts of different like logic blocks that you can have. So that you have the extraction straight in here. You have a combined text, which we use quite a bit, and I'll show you in some of the other pre-built spells that we have. And then you have conditional logic that you can put in here as well, which is like if-then statements, basically. Yeah, and they're adding stuff in here all the time. Some of the ones that we use really often, we use the API block in and out to be able to connect into any API that has an open API. They just added this custom code block in here now too, so you can run Python and Java, I believe is the other one, like native, like right in line, which has been really cool. And if you don't know how to code in that, if you can describe it, let me just show you. If you can describe it right here, you can tell it what you want it to do, and it will actually write the code for you with a GPT-4, like telling it how to write the snippet for code, which is pretty cool. Let me come back over here. Data. This is one that we use pretty regularly. Read website and web search. So you can actually go scrape websites. And what I mean by that is you could point this at any URL that you want to. It will go read the entirety of the contents of that page and then can bring that back into like an automation workflow. So how would we use that? For a social media post generator that we're working on for Anne, we take this and we give it a LinkedIn profile URL for someone that she's writing an article about. It can go read all of their profile information, like their experience, education, all that sort of stuff, and bring that back into our prompt chain to serve as like context for writing like a biography about that person. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, so we looked at all the text models. This is really fun. It has, we have vision, straight in line in here. I've used that multiple times for all sorts of different things. Everything from, say that again.
Show us an example of vision and respell.
Let me see if I have one in here saved. Let's see. I did one the other day, and I don't know if I ended up saving it or not. I have too many untitled spells when I come in here and just play with something, and then where I'm just like testing stuff. I can tell you how I used it. Basically, the other day, I used it to read some documents that I had, which I could have used the PDF scraper in here also. Like that is also in here. Show you that. Yeah, file the text. If it's a PDF or an image, it can read it. But I wanted to try it just with the vision model. And I had some medical like documentation that I was reading on. And so I put that through here, ran that through a prompt chain that was talking about some like blood work that we had done. And it analyzed all of that and then spit out the other end. So it was pretty cool. But the other ways that could be used, like we've used it, it wasn't in here. We used it not in Respell, but in the API over from OpenAI to look at a product image when we were working on the SEO project that we've talked about. And we gave it just the product image and just the product title and said, do you know what this is and can you describe it? And it was a pretty like generic and vague image. Like you wouldn't, unless you just knew what it was, I don't think most people would have like realized what it was at that point. It was just like a reflector that you would see in like the median of an interstate. And it not only recognized exactly what it was, but wrote like a perfect product description before we even ran it through our prompt chain.
Wow.
And that was, just from an image.
It's wild.
Yeah. There's Stable Diffusion models in here. They've got DALL-E in here. There's Whisper and 11 Labs native, so you can both transcribe anything that you have or take text and put it back out to audio. These are some of the most fun ones that I've done. Research Agent, we talk about a lot. The Research Agent, you can give it a goal to go out on the internet and search any topic, person, place, thing, whatever. It will go do that and return that back to you, all on its own, which is still mind-boggling every time we use it.
Yeah, we use the Research Agent a lot.
Yeah,
for our own internal work as well as, you know, for clients. So like actual research stuff that we want to do before meetings. And, you know, if we are hopping on a call with a client, we do work using the Research Agent to research their market and their competitors and things like that. So it literally takes us minutes, if that, to conduct, you know, our market research on clients. So
yeah. I also love that because of what we can do in Respel with the research agents and then the output, we can make it any way we want it to be. The output can be in our language, in our lens, with our priorities. So it's not just blanket research. You can give it specific goals of how you want it to do the work so that you can see if, for us, we like to check to see if we are a good fit out of the gate, and that way we can have some 2 cents of like, oh, what can we bring, and is this someone we want to work with, you know, so we can maybe save them some time if it's a no. But what I do love is that output option too, that Tyler and y'all have like built such really beautiful outputs, which can be fully customized to any team, because that can vary from team to team. So it's really custom, or bespoke is the $10 word that we like to use.
Yeah. That's what, like, to just demonstrate, I think we've said this before, but just to show the power of how amazing this thing is. We had a person who was a president of a university, and we were doing research on them, and we're looking for quotable statements that this person had said out anywhere on the internet. And we gave it the goal of, here's the person's name, here's the organization that they're with, here's a bit of information about them. Go out on the internet, see what you can find, and bring it back. And it's not someone that you're just going to see quotes from if you go Google that. It went and found a YouTube transcript of them doing a graduation speech and pulled a snippet from the transcript on that and brought it back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, I don't think we could have found that ourselves if we went out there looking for it. It just would not have been easy.
And it wasn't like an innocuous thing. It actually found like a really gem moment of their speech, which is also really wild. And then, I mean, this is getting a little in the weeds, but just to speak on the power of it, for that particular use case, we are also setting up questions we could ask this person. So we had the automation based off of all the information and those quotes, then draft up questions we could ask this person in sort of a getting to know you interview style. And so, and it was an amazing start. And then of course we can ideate and expand on stuff, but just like that, once that was built, it took seconds. It took a minute. It was wild. It would take 10 hours to do all that work.
You know, sometimes I forget, because this is part of how we work now, right? Like our team, this is how we work. And I have to remind ourselves that, you know, 99% of the world is just not there yet. You know, sometimes it feels like we're in a different dimension. It's kind of like a bizarre thing, you know, where I feel like we're in like a different dimension, and like sort of exploring that dimension when people are still in the last dimension. And so it's kind of like even trying to explain what we're doing. Like, do people actually get why this is mind-blowing? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No,
I totally get that.
Yeah, especially when you go talk to someone outside of what we do. Like, then that's when I really realize how odd it is of like what we're able to do and how even just how we work in general is it's not normal, but it's cool that it's like I think it's going to become the new normal. That's
I think you're right. Yeah, I completely think you're right. And I love that we have this unique opportunity to be that bridge for people where we're helping them cross over to this new dimension. Because I remember the first time I saw this stuff, it was just like mind blowing once there was that initial like, oh my gosh, ChatGPT, of course, we all had that experience. And then once you start plugging all the pieces together, that's when I was like, oh, nothing is ever going to be the same ever again.
Yes.
Oh, me.
It is wild. Like we're, and I think, following this conversation, I think we're just so early, like our team and people who are playing in this space, it's not just our team. We're immersed in it, but I feel like this year coming up is when people are going to start integrating AI in ways like this more seriously, where it's like beyond just prompting ChatGPT for content, it's going to be really like, how do we work intelligently? How do we inject intelligence into our processes and our workflows in ways that scale and enable us to scale? So I think I'm really excited about next year and what it means for AI and businesses.
Speaking of intelligent,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go Hunter. You got it.
Well, just in the spirit of intelligence, and next year, while you were talking, I just realized, because I'm on West Coast time today, I woke up like an hour or two ago, and I just remembered that I had a dream that AGI had arrived. I dreamt that AGI was here. I'm now dreaming about AI. Yes, it's happening. And yeah, we were tinkering as a team. This is real. I actually dreamt this. We were tinkering as a team. Like we were having our first like onboarding to AGI and learning how to use it so that we could start to teach others.
Sam Altman, this is when you know that Sam Altman has taken up too much space in your head, is when you start having dreams about Sam Altman. It's like, after this.
Yeah.
But that's how you know that we're immersed in this stuff, where your subconscious mind is like reflecting that back to you in your dreams. So
yep.
I haven't had Sam show up yet, but I definitely dream about AI for sure.
Sam has been in my dreams. I also think he's really cute, so that probably helps.
That's right.
Oh man. Yeah, I brought this one up. This is one of the favorite things that I've built. And let's talk about like serious workflows. I have an AI robot able to order my takeout for me now. Like this is some serious business. But it really works. Like I connected it into, I can't say it out loud or she'll come online, but the S-named person that shows up on your iPhone, if you call her up, and I have a hot word that does a shortcut through her. And then she asks, what do I want to eat? And I just have this one right now programmed straight to like Mexican tienda, like right down the road from us. But it could be dynamic. Like you could make it whatever you wanted it to be. Like if you didn't know what you want and you told it the area, it could go search restaurants, tell you what they had, and then call and place your order for you. But I had so much fun with this because this reminds me like 3-ish or 4-ish years ago, Google demoed that they were going to have assistants come out that you could have like make appointments for you or do this sort of thing. And then it hasn't come out yet. I think it actually really recently, I think they've just now leaked that out. But with this, I could build that all for myself, like however I wanted it to work. And it not only just like calls and reads a script, it interacts with the person on the other end of the phone and can order it orders the food. It confirms the order. It confirms the pickup time. And then it will ping me back and tell me like the entire transcript and when I need to show up to get it. So
That's amazing. Like this is wild. Like Google, largest organization in the world, like didn't quite put weren't quite able to launch it, but then here you go, you built it. With
Well, it wasn't
Respel.
me. It's Respel. It's like
Yeah.
where the state of tools have come to.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was watching, and I put it on my LinkedIn. I think her name is Kathy Phillips. She's like a, investor, or like she's an investor and has her own investment company and things like that. And she was talking about we're going through this cycle that we've never been through, like we've never seen. And it really is in relation to like 5 emerging technologies converging together at the same time. And AI being like the enabler, AI in its own right being generative AI being like its own emerging technology, but that it's enabling all of these other emerging technologies to but even she was saying like this is enabling tectonic shifts in our economic future, which looks very positive from her point of view. So encouraging everybody to kind of like just look through my LinkedIn profile. You'll see I posted it there. But the opportunity then becomes like for people like Tyler, people who are building things, people who have like ideas, are able to build businesses in days, like a team of 2 or 3 can, like our team, that's what we're gearing up to be, is being able to be like essentially utilize AI, utilize like our own AI team as agents to be able to scale us so that we're not 6 people. We can achieve what an organization of like 50 or 60 people can achieve. So it's wild.
It is wild. And what's also awesome about this opportunity, hey, William Love in the house. Speaking to Google Duplex, William Love is, that's what it was called. Check out William Love. He's an amazing lawyer. He helps startups. He is an expert in IP. Little shout out to William there, because we have a lot of questions for William, and he's got a lot of answers, luckily. So he's awesome resource. And to speak to what you were saying, Sarah, about how we can be larger because of these resources, like we can like punch above our weight, right? Like we can be a larger team. And what's so with all these tools and automation, and to the point about like Google Duplex not being able to come out, and like here Tyler has built it, because there's a smaller team, there's no red tape. It's like the only red tape is us, is like communicating with each other. Or like if you're a solopreneur, the only red tape is you, right? And maybe it's just about like upskilling, and that's the only thing. It's like the barrier is knowledge and technique and skill, but it's not bureaucracy at this moment. And that is very exciting to me, because it's like the great equalizer in innovation right now, right now where we are. We'll see how things evolve. But in this moment, we're able to just jump in and team up with people like yourselves to make awesome stuff happen.
And I think that's why our team is so excited to work with companies that are in the growth stage. We're not really trying to, take on the enterprise market, because we know what we can achieve with these technologies. And we want to work with people who can actually make it happen, So someone who, like, I've worked in enterprise before, and I know how hard it is to actually get projects moving, to actually make them happen. So we're really, like, our sweet spot really is in companies who are in that growth stage, who, want to scale and are able to scale. And what we're helping them do is literally put like a rocket underneath their rocket ship. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the rocket emoji is really having its prime time these days. I feel like in our echo chamber, I see it everywhere in LinkedIn these days.
For sure. Yeah. And it's like, to your point, Hunter, it really is like the tools are enabling people to have a larger presence and voice. And like, that's another thing that's really important to us, is that Anne's really connected into the nonprofit world and really connected into higher ed. Hunter, you specifically, you're connected into a lot of folks that like diversity and inclusion, like with all the interviews that you've done with some of your previous roles. Like, so now we're able to go and find these people that maybe aren't in the limelight as much as they should be, and we can empower them with like these tools to be able to do that now, which is like, that's really cool for me, because it gives us like purpose behind what we're doing. And it's not just like fun. It is fun tech stuff, and we get to do something like really powerful and good at the same time.
Yeah. And
Yeah, both could be true.
Yeah. And like this video I was watching this morning, you know, she was saying that the assumption is that it's all of these larger companies that are already in the lead that are going to benefit enormously from this technology in the next 5 to 10 years. But she's saying, actually, no. The past, if you look back, you know, in cycles, it's companies who were leading 10 to 20 years ago and aren't necessarily leading now. So being able to provide the underdogs, you know, the people who actually want to make a difference and want to make impact with the technology that enables them to do that, is really, you know, a gift, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like a real world example of that is take my silly takeout order thing that I've done there. That same bot, let's call it, is able to call anything with any goal in mind. So let's say that you have like a regional or a smaller plumbing company or any kind of service business. You have to call, or they usually have a team of people, if they're even able to do this, to like call the customer ahead of time and say, hey, we're on our way. Here's what you need to know. The person's going to be driving this. Here's what we're expecting to do, and like actually interact with the client on the other end with whatever that goal looks like. Or let's say it's confirming an appointment with like a hair salon or something. We were talking about hair earlier. Like, there's usually a person that has to do that. And like, now you can have that done with AI, so that person can be freed up to be doing even more stuff that those organizations want to do, but because they're small, it's hard to get to everything. Like, this is the enablement that it allows you to do.
Yeah, I think that's where there's so much power. And speaking to what you were saying, Tyler, about helping, you know, historically marginalized groups and leaders and founders that maybe don't have access, and you know, there's been so many barriers that are just systemically built in that prohibit people to have access to what they need and could get, as opposed to other people that just are handed it freely, especially because of, you know, systemic wealth that's passed down. I'll get off my soapbox, but we understand how that works. And now we're in this unique opportunity where, to speak to like, what Sarah was saying, there's this potentially misconception that the largest companies are going to succeed with this and be ahead and leading. And I think we are seeing a wave right now with larger companies that are putting a lot of money into this because they do realize that it is important. And so there's a lot of investment in it, but we're going to see, only time will tell to see what the actual payoff is, because what's actually going to be able to get through and approved might take longer than, let's say, we help someone, a company, a group, a solopreneur that is in startup mode or in growth stage, and we can give you access or help you create. You have access. We can just help you build it. You know, it's like, we're not gatekeeping anything. It's just all there, and we're putting the pieces together. And I love that, like, as we have been talking more and more as a group, that we want, that we're building in, like, enabling, like, here's some, as we're building stuff, we're going to release it so that you can, like, buy things a la carte. You're like, right now, the one thing I need is this workflow for me, and that would be great. So, like, as we're building stuff, we're going to start shipping it. And so if there isn't a large chest to make these investment yet, you can do it, you know, piecemeal, one piece at a time. It makes me think of, like, when I was starting in photography 20 years ago. You can't buy, like, I don't come from wealth. I couldn't just buy all the gear I needed and buy a studio and I got a camera, and then I had an intro lens, and then I bought some better lenses when I started making money, and then I bought a light, and then I bought another light, and then I bought a backdrop, and it was literally piece by piece. And over years, then I had a studio. I had a home studio, but it didn't happen overnight. There's no one way to do it, right? Like you can do it piece by piece, or if you're lucky and you maybe got some funding, then you can go in and do a bigger leap. But they're both valuable, and I think they both work. We're all on our own speed,
Yeah. And I think that like the difference as well in terms of this particular technology and where we're at is that time is everything. We're experiencing changes that are on an exponential level. And when you're on exponential curves, it becomes harder if you're later to the game because the curve is already doing this, right? It's already going up exponentially. And so I think, the small, nimble teams that can move fast, I don't want to say move fast and break things, but, they can move fast and make decisions and make gains. And the further that they are on the, basically time is money, because once you're on the curve, then you get an easier ride almost because you get those compounding gains from being on the curve. And if you're trying to move and like catch the curve a little later, it's going to be harder to catch up. So I think it's fair game, with all of these industries and industry leaders right now that have all that bureaucracy and red tape. Maybe they have the money behind them, but they don't have the speed, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what the world looks like in 5 years. I mean, I don't know, like this year has been wild. And next year is going to be, I don't know if we can predict what's going to happen.
No, we cannot.
Yeah, I don't think we can. Not even close. Like, because I do that every year at this time of the year. I'll go back and look through like my camera roll and videos and just kind of like work from the beginning of the year forward and just thinking about like what I was doing in each month. January, this time last year, was GPT-4 even out yet? I don't think so. Because I think plugins, I got into like the plugin alpha in like February, if I remember correctly. So think about that for a second. Like it wasn't even able for most folks to connect into the internet through like the plugin and the web browser stuff until like mid-spring or mid-summer, I think is when that came out. And now like we can access not only the internet with this stuff, you can run that directly into an automation flow and then have like a multimodal AI agent go make a phone call for you based off of that. Like, it's like, what? What is happening?
Then you got Thai food at your door. How'd that happen?
Yeah. That's the thing, Tyler. Like, could you have imagined that in January? Like it's a different world already,
Yeah, no, I don't think I could have. And I think about this, like we were talking about AGI with your dream earlier, Hunter. Like I was like, I don't know if for AGI, it's going to be difficult to tell, in my opinion, when we do finally arrive at that, because like, this stuff is so good at mimicking. We got Jackson peeping in down here. This stuff is so good at mimicking human behavior that, like, what do we need to do? We need to buy a minion gang. Hold on.
Oh,
priorities.
Capitalism at its work, right there. Beautiful. Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be, without getting too in the weeds, and we're going to wrap up here in a minute. We could do a whole nother talk on what is the definition of intelligence, right? Like that's, we're not the only ones talking about that right now, but to actually pinpoint what is intelligence, I think we're all having a shift on what that means, because I'm not going to have to know how to do everything. I can like have agents do stuff. And because I'm using that information, then I'm very intelligent, but I couldn't have done it on my own. And how do we define what intelligence is in in the machines? I mean, it's the age-old sci-fi question, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's like it's the consciousness.
Thanks, William.
versus-
We appreciate
Yeah,
you.
yes, yeah, we appreciate you too. But yeah, it's consciousness versus like the sentience of it when it arrives at it. And like what I was saying a minute ago was just that they're so good at mimicking humans and what we do in certain use cases, and they're getting better across the board every day, that it's going to be hard to know when we've crossed that threshold into like, it's when is it thinking and making decisions on its own versus like mimicking its training to the T, where it's blurs the line there. And I'm like, I think we're really, really close to that. Like, I think that could happen in 24, which is the hot take, bold prediction. But I just, the pace that this stuff is moving at, and it's, I mean, most people will not, this will probably be an unpopular opinion. I think it's very unregulatable because of all the open source models. Like there's that new Mistral. I just was watching this last night, the Dolphin Edition Mistral model that's open source. One of our buddies, Kyle, was just even able to run a version of that locally on his iPad off of the internet. Like that's like an infinite bit of knowledge that you can carry around in your pocket without the internet now, that can just talk back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's just going to continue to improve. So that's where I'm just like 24 is going to be a wild ride for sure.
Maybe
it sure is.
It's the year that we realize that we live in a simulation and we are the AI anyway.
Oh God, we're going to need more than 30 minutes to dig into that one.
Yeah.
I'll leave you that conspiracy.
Yeah, mic drop with that one. Brought to you by the 1991 film, I think it's called The 13th Floor. It came out the same year as The Matrix, and so it completely flew under the radar. But that is the premise. It's really great, actually. It's really great. Underrated film.
Hashtag sponsored by BetterHelp, because Sarah just unlocked existential crisis for anyone who hadn't gone down that path yet. We're going to be great. Huge proponent.
All right, friends. This was so great. Always a delight to hop on and chat. And thanks to those that gave it a watch and were part of the chat today.
Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you we'll catch you tomorrow, but also in 2024.
Yes. Yeah, tomorrow Bites and Banter at noon Eastern tomorrow, where you can hop on camera and hang out and ask questions and share victories and silly stories. It's fun. Bye, Jackson.
Bye, Jackson.